morning, everyone, and welcome to our Hump Day edition of the morning show right here on the new Main Street TV. We're so happy to have you with us today. And of course, Jennifer here to start off the morning show with our good friend Pete Wilson with the morning news update. And of course, that's always brought to you by our good friend Nia Henry at Agent for Appalachia Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell or have any real estate needs, please give Nia a call at 740-418-4135, and she'll be out working for you. We also have some special guests in the house today. Jackson Mayor Randy Evans is here, along with our Safety and Service Director David Swackhammer, and we're going to be hearing about something new that they have proposed and working with council to try to get it passed. But before we get to that, we're going to get to Pete and all the news. So what is going on, good buddy?
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jennifer. We're going to start off the news report with a sports story, and this is something pretty special, I think. Maybe not all surprising considering the season that the Vinton County Lady Vikings did. You know, you have great team success. You go to the state tournament, then individual awards kind of follow because individuals, of course, make up a team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yesterday it was announced by the Ohio Prep Sports Writers Association. That's the group that kind of does the awards at the state level. They announced that Vinton County head coach for the Lady Vikings, Rod Bentley, was the Ohio Coach of the Year in Division II.
What?
So all the teams in Division II in the state,
so cool.
He was the Coach of the Year, and a lot of times, and there he is. If you're watching on your computer or on your TV screen, there is Rod with one of the triumphant moments of the season when he was cutting down the nets after Vinton County's regional championship. Of course, that regional championship earned them a berth in the state tournament, and as we all know, they won their first game in the state tournament before losing in the state championship game. A Vinton County team had never been to the state tournament before, basketball, boys or girls, and so that's very, very special. But Mr. Bentley, who has been here, on our Main Street TV show before, and I understand we may get him back
That's
again,
right.
so that's exciting. But he was the only award winner. A lot of times those awards are shared because you got all these coaches in the state. How do you pick? Well, a panel of sports writers felt that he deserved the award solo. So he is the Coach of the Year. His daughter, Morgan Bentley, who was one of the star players on the team, she was named to the first team. There's only 10 players in Division II that made the first team, and she was one of them.
Wow.
So congratulations to Morgan Bentley and to Rod Bentley. And, of course, it's a team thing. All the team contributed to that. Cameron Zinn, who is a junior, she'll be back next year. She made the second team All-Ohio, so that was pretty special. Mariah Davis, I believe, was honorable mention. And, of course, all the schools got some mention, on the All-Ohio list. But, there's nothing better than the top award, Coach of the Year. So we have that coverage in our Wednesday edition of the Telegram and, of course, on the front page and the sports page, both. Okay, we will go to the COVID-19 front. Not a lot of news to report there on cases and such. Of course, big news Monday when the governor came to Vinton County and kind of sounded a warning about the importance of vaccinations, especially with the slight increase in cases that's showing up kind of all over the state, including here in Jackson County and Vinton County. Not a real strong increase, but enough that it's got your attention a little bit. But today, the Jackson County Health Department will be doing a vaccination clinic at the Jackson First Church of the Nazarene. It will be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. So you got double sessions. Moderna and Pfizer first and second doses will be available, and this is for anybody ages 16 and older. So once again, anyone in that group can come. That includes folks who may be older, who had a chance to take the vaccine before, for whatever reason didn't do it. You're still included in this clinic today. There will be another clinic Monday, April the 5th at the First Church of the Nazarene. The health department will feature the Johnson & Johnson vaccine on Monday. Of course, that has gotten a lot of publicity because it is a one-shot process instead of a two-shot process. So some folks may be interested in that. No age categories there. Anybody can come if they haven't had the vaccine yet. And then the other clinic that has been scheduled and announced is on Thursday, April the 8th, 1 week from tomorrow. That's also from 2 to 7 p.m. at the First Church of the Nazarene. There will be first and second doses of the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines. Today is the first day of the mass vaccination clinic at the Adena Regional Medical Center in Chillicothe. The supply is almost endless there. I mean, they are set up to do a lot of vaccinations because this is a regional thing. That doesn't mean you have to go there if you're from here to get your shot, but you can. You do have to have an appointment, but if you have an appointment, you'll be able to get in. And this is at the Packard Medical Education Center. That's on the campus of the hospital over there at Chillicothe. It's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Friday is when they're doing those vaccinations. And if you want to get an appointment, what you do is, and this is for anybody ages 18 and older, you call the following number. So listen carefully. It's 1-833-4-ASK ODH. ODH, of course, Ohio Department of Health. 1-833-4-ASK ODH. You can also go on the website, the coronavirus website for the Ohio Department of Health. That's called gettheshot.coronavirusohio.gov. That is the website that is put out by the Ohio Department of Health on all COVID-related news. All right, we'll move on. And of course, we have the two top city administrators in the House, Mayor Randy Evans and Service Director David Swackhammer. They're going to talk about a specific issue today. But there was something that we should mention that we haven't mentioned on the news before. It was another good thing for the city. Late last year, the city received an award from Ohio for the new substation. Now, the substation has been there for a while, but a lot of folks probably don't know a whole lot about it because it's kind of hidden from view. It's back there off Fairmont Street on city-owned property before you get to the cemetery. You can see it off to the left if you're driving up Fairmont Street. The city won an award from Ohio for that substation, of course, a major project. And at a council meeting late last year, that's Mayor Randy Evans on the left, presenting the plaque to the head of electric department, Tom Waltz, the department head for electric, Tom Waltz. He is in charge of the electric department, and that was a key thing for the city. I know they're not going to talk about it today, but the substation was a major upgrade for the city's electric department. It gives them more capacity and obviously more reliability because you have another substation there to cover things. So that was good news for the city. Saturday evening, Apple Festival contest. The Apple Festival is on this year, if you're wondering. And of course, the first thing that happens there to start the process is you got to pick the royalty. That will happen Saturday at the Jackson Middle School Auditorium, 7 p.m. 12 young ladies, 10 from Jackson High School, 2 from Oak Hill High School are the contestants. Their pictures and profiles are in Wednesday's edition of the Telegram, so be sure to check that out. Going to be hard to pick from those 12, I'll tell you, after seeing the pictures. But here's the deal. Because of the pandemic, we still have restrictions. It's going to be a closed event, meaning that you just can't walk up and go if you're anybody. There's going to be restricted tickets, which means how the Apple Festival folks are handling this in conjunction with the city schools and what is allowable is that each of the contestants are going to be given up to 7 tickets. So you can figure that's going to be a crowd of less than 100. You throw in the Apple Festival committee and a few other working people like media, you're not going to have nearly as many people in there as you would. I'm sure they'll have it set up so there's social distancing, family groups together, etc. But here is a big thing. A lot of people are interested in that and they want to see it, but they won't be able to, right? Yes, they can. The Jackson High School media team has been designated to do live video of that. It will be on the Facebook page of the JHS Media. It's the same outfit that did such a great job with the sports this year, the football games and the basketball games. It's on there free of charge. You don't have to pay any fee or anything. It will be posted later for later viewing, so you don't even have to watch it live. And, of course, the Telegram will be there to cover the event. Our digital marketing manager, James Hamilton, is planning on being there to do some of the special things he does on the video side and on the photography side. And so, we will make sure between everybody that it gets covered well. But the big news is it is going to happen. The Little Queens contest, if you haven't heard, will be held in the summer. That usually draws a larger crowd because you have more contestants. There's no reason why you have to push that right now just because it's tradition. They figured that they can do that. They'll wait in the summer to do that at some time yet to be announced. All right, the Jackson High School National Honor Society had an induction ceremony recently. 37 new members of the National Honor Society were inducted, and there they are on your television screen there. We had a picture spread in our paper today that is out on the streets. Got pictures of the new inductees, got pictures of the ones who returned from last year, who are still National Honor Society members and still in school, and some other related pictures as well. We thank Waylon Massey, social studies teacher and National Honor Society advisor, for getting us that information and pictures. I know that this isn't hard news, but man, we want to give those kids credit. That's an academic thing, it's a citizenship thing, and there's just a lot of bright kids down there at Jackson High School, and we want to recognize them just as we did at Oak Hill High School last week. So that information, the pictures of the kids and their names, all in Wednesday's paper. We want to remind you that tomorrow, April the 1st, is the last day for folks in the Oak Hill School District to make nominations for the Oak Hill Schools Hall of Honor. The Hall of Honor is done every other year for the Oak Hill Schools. Outstanding people who have done high achievements in their field, have contributed to the community, to the school district. Maybe they've been school district employees. All those people are eligible. And how Oak Hill does it is they want nominations from the public. So tomorrow is the very last day that you can make a communication to the Oak Hill schools or call them and let them know that you have a nomination. To nominate, you need to submit a letter no later than tomorrow, postmarked tomorrow, to the superintendent's secretary at Oak Hill. That's Nancy Charrington. And you send that to the Board of Education Administrative Office. That's at 205 Western Avenue in Oak Hill. Or give Nancy a call, 682-7595. And you can look that up if you didn't remember it. All right, the YMCA here in Jackson is offering youth soccer. That's a big thing here. Soccer, very popular in Jackson. They've got 3 leagues, co-ed leagues, U6, U9, and U12. I say this again, I mentioned it earlier in the week. Tomorrow is the last day to sign up. Only $20 if you're a YMCA member, $25 if you're not. And Tim Harvey over there at the YMCA, he's very inclusive. If there's going to be a money problem with a child or a family, they'll make sure that that child is able to play some way. They'll get those costs covered. So don't let that be a problem. Tomorrow is the last day to get dog tags in Jackson County. They have extended that deadline twice. If you don't get a dog license by tomorrow and they catch you, or you just put it off, or they catch you without a license, you're going to pay for that license and you're going to pay a penalty fee. I think it's double the cost. So you want to do that. This is your last chance. Where can you get dog licenses? At the Jackson County Dog Pound, the Commissioner's Office, the County Commissioner's Office, the County Auditor's Office at the Courthouse, Mount Zion Animal Clinic, Animals Unlimited, and Paws a While. The Ladle of Love food program that operates out of the Good Shepherd Wesleyan Church, Christina Sexton Inbody as the mover and shaker there. They're going to have a Easter lunch this Saturday. You can call to get on the list. That's a free lunch that they will deliver to you, or you can pick it up. The number to call to get on the list is 740-688-1900. They're doing a special Easter meal. The menu is homemade chicken and noodles, mashed potatoes, a vegetable roll, and dessert. They usually serve 150 people on a normal serving, which is twice a month, but they want to make the holiday special. They did for Christmas, and now they're doing this meal for Easter. All right. One other thing we want to mention on the sports side. Last night, we had our first home baseball game at Jackson High School. Dan Morrow and I were down there to broadcast that, and it was a success. Okay, there we are. Didn't know we were going to get our picture on there.
Aw.
That's the old left-hander and the even older right-hander at work there. But hey, 75 degrees and sunshine.
You couldn't have had a prettier
Where
day,
else would you want to
right?
be? And our digital marketing manager, James Hamilton, was down there, took some great pictures that you can see on our website. That is Holden Blankenship throwing the ball across the diamond. All he did was hit 4 triples in their
Right.
opener. Yeah, right. That's a state record.
Hey,
You know,
by the way, Jamie looked that up. We were
Mhm.
discussing that. Pete
He's a
and
baseball player, right? We
yeah,
remember.
yeah, he played college baseball, and he was like, we were discussing this feat, and he said, "I'll bet that's never happened in the majors," and we can't find
4
that
triples.
it
No.
ever did. He found 3.
Yeah, triple's pretty special. Just one.
Yeah.
And he had 4.
Yeah, he said, I guarantee you that's never happened in the major leagues. So he was like looking it up. He found one guy that did 3.
Right. Well, anyway,
And
the Iron Men won.
That's pretty incredible.
That is pretty good. The Iron Men won yesterday. They didn't hit the ball as well as they did the first time, but they won 4-2. That man right there, if you're watching on TV or on Facebook, on the computer, your phone, that's Drew Bragg, junior right-hander. He was the winning pitcher, gave up only 2 runs. I think only one of them was earned. Logan Camp got the save, so it was a real good ball game. Medina usually has a good baseball program. Coach Josh McGraw, very hopeful for a good baseball season. They're 2-0 so far. They got off to a good start. We're going to be doing every home baseball game on 1330 AM and 105.3 FM. Our next game is Saturday, 11 o'clock, when the Minford Falcons come. And 2 years ago, Minford made it to the state tournament, so that will be a big test. Warren Local is also coming, and how it's going to work, Jennifer, Jackson Minford at 11 o'clock, then Minford and Warren, and then the third game, time approximate in the afternoon sometime. We don't know exactly when. It'll be Jackson, then playing Warren. So everybody will play 2 games.
Cool.
So there you are. We do thank James Hamilton for being there and getting some pictures. Todd Compson was there to cover the game as well. And once again, there was a track meet going on there, an open track meet. 2 of the teams were Jackson and Oak Hill. You can see that in the picture. James posted some pictures on our Facebook there. They've got a lot of attention, some really good pictures, and you can see
Way to go,
a lot of
James.
kids.
Those are great.
Yes, you can see a lot of kids in action.
Todd gets credit for the track photos.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, Todd Compson, he has a camera
Very
around
good.
his neck a good bit too. But anyway, I'm going to get out of this chair because we've got some very special guests. And we do want to thank Mayor Evans and
Yes.
Service Director Swackhammer for being here. The reason they're here is they want to be very transparent and forward about the things the city is doing. They want the citizens to know, and this is an opportunity to hear firsthand about a major initiative that they have planned and that they hope to have council's support for here within the next month or so.
That's absolutely right, and we'll get to the guys just here in just a minute. Thank you, Pete. Much
Thank you very
appreciated.
All right.
Get down there and get the news out. Not that he doesn't do that all the time. All right. So let's head on over to, while the guys are setting up over to my left, let's get to your telegram news weather forecast. And today is today is the 31st, which means it is your last day to take advantage of the Telegram spring subscription special. And what does that mean? Well, that means that you get $10 off a year-long subscription for both the print and digital subscription. It's a combination of both. You get that Telegram news for only $3.75 per month. That, again, is only through today. And you have to get that by calling 740-286-3023. You can't subscribe online. To get the discount, 740-286-3023. And also, don't forget that is for Jackson and Benton counties only. All right, your weather forecast is, if I could say
Jen
the
is
SH blank
Jen
blank
is not
word
excited
show,
about the weather forecast.
I mean, this forecast is the SH blank blank show. There we go. I said it. It is mostly cloudy today with scattered showers. Highs around 58 degrees. Chance of precipitation of God only knows what's going to fall out the sky, 50%. For tonight, mostly cloudy. Are you ready for this? 72 degrees yesterday. Rain and snow overnight tonight with lows of 27 degrees. Yes, that's what I said. And, it gets even better. Thursday, partly cloudy. Well, the good news is there's no snow in the forecast. Highs, though, of 40. And on Thursday, we get that little bonus of wind chills being at 22 degrees. So there you go. Happy weather forecast. But subscribe to the Telegram and you'll be happy because you get that spring deal. And today is the last day. Don't forget about that. All right. So we have some royalty of our own here in the house today. Okay, well, they forgot their crowns. Aren't they cute, though? All right. So we do have Jackson Mayor Randy Evans and, of course, Jackson Service and Safety Director David Swackhammer with us in the house today. And the guys are here to talk about something that is being proposed at council. And, I don't know a lot about it. I get the general gist of it. So, first off, guys, welcome to the program. And then tell us how this all came to be. I'll let you all fight over who's going to talk first.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. We had this contractor registration ordinance is before council, and Service Director Swackhammer and pretty much insisted that I come on here onto your show to help get the word out.
I like that
because he knew, and he's pretty persistent when he's trying to be, and he pretty much said I had to, and I said okay, and then I told him, and you're coming with me.
Oh, I see how it works.
Yeah. So two can play that game.
That's right.
But and I'll let him tell you about the ordinance because he plays as service director. He plays a big role in, council. Our council as well as our administration is very aggressive into making changes that we feel are past due or needed for a long time, and we've been updating and revising a lot of them, and David personally is very active in that. Has to do a lot of the behind the scenes work for council basically, and so council was kind of ties in with the new income tax, but council for a long time, well since we've been here, we've wanted to see a contractor registration ordinance.
Okay.
So we've somewhat copied a lot of the ideas that towns around us, most towns around us, Chillicothe, Athens, Waverly, they already require that. So David's done a lot of homework and helped council get an ordinance for that before council. And so it's I think it's had second reading at the last meeting. So and we had asked Pete to do a story on it about it. We just want the public to know what's going on, and we don't want to do anything, quick or behind the scenes or without the public knowledge. It's before council right now, and we're just trying to get the word out about it before they take their final reading, which will be I think in 2 weeks.
Okay.
It'll be up for a final reading at least. So and then I really, when that happened, I realized David had never been on this show.
Wow.
So I want to introduce to you, Jennifer, our service director of 15 months now. You should have had him in here sooner.
I know.
But he's
That's
here today,
right.
Mr. David Swackhammer.
Yes, and welcome, David, and we're so happy to have you here today. And you have the service and safety director. I don't think a lot of folks understand the gravity of the job. And basically, so James was asking what your official title was before the show, and he said city manager or city planner or city. And I said, well, that's kind of the description of you're managing a whole lot of stuff. So, but the official title, of course, service and safety and service director. So. First off, I guess since you're here and you haven't been here before, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity. It has been 15 months, but it's been, seems like it's only yesterday. It's went fast. I had a 38 plus year career with DuPont. Started out the Circleville site and ended up in a corporate office for the last 15 plus years. I was a North America manager for DuPont, plus had international responsibilities. And after I retired, I worked for a local livestock group as a regional manager, and then for a local business, I was operations manager for a year or so before finding out that Mayor Evans hadn't picked a service safety director yet, and kind of threw my hat in the ring and thought I'd see where it went. So it's been interesting. Haven't regretted it, but I like the premise of wanting to do something, wanting to make changes, and that was what his campaign was about. So that was exciting, and it's been nonstop since then. And I really did want to talk about this new ordinance that's in front of us right now. I thought it was very important. We have a lot of contractors in the area, both in the city and outside the city, that come into Jackson to work. Jackson has never had a Section 1316 in the codified ordinances, which is the registration of contractors. And I would encourage anybody that is a contractor or is going to be hiring a contractor to take a look at the city's website. Not only is the ordinance out there and in its full entirety, but at the same time, we're also we have the contractor registration form out there. And before, our building permit acted as our demolition permit as well. We have now split that out into two separate forms to get a lot more detail involved. This is something that has been through two council readings already. I believe it's the 12th of April. It would go for its third reading. And I want anybody from the public that has a concern, they need to voice it now. We don't want to try to have this put into place and then nobody knows about it. If you drive around town today, you'll see all kind of activity going on with remodels, new construction. Our intent is not to deter any of that. Our intent is to have those individuals. We'll have a list of them that are registered. They'll be out on a city link. Residents will be able to go out there. They'll also be able to see the criteria that these contractors have to meet to be registered within the city. So it should be a little bit more peace of mind there. This is not an endorsement of anybody, but it is just trying to level the playing field a little bit, but also trying to get a good handle on the contract work that's going on within the city as well.
All right. Well, I mean, you happen to have a contractor sitting right beside you, along with his mayoral duties, and he seems to be not in disagreement on this. So, but first off, I guess let's talk for a minute about what is defined as a contractor, because they may have confused people right off the bat, right?
It could be. I'm going to refer to the ordinance and stuff. It
Please
actually
do.
has a definition section. It's 1316.02. Contractor means any person or entities who constructs, alters, repairs, adds to, subtracts from, reconstructs, or remodels any building structure, aperture thereto, including but not limited to plumbing, sewer, heating, electrical, siding, air conditioning, roof work, insulation work, carpentry, tree work, swimming pool installations, masonry, sign erections, and any work related to real estate.
All right, and so that pretty much covers the entire gamut of anybody that's going to come in and work on your property. So, what are there any exceptions that that you can think of as far as people working on their own home, or I guess there's kind of a gray area maybe there a little bit too. So I'm trying to think of things that people are going to ask,
Well,
or concerns they may have.
Yep. We'll follow right on with that then. 1316.03 is the exceptions list. Homeowner, it says, no provision in this chapter shall be construed to require that a fee simple owner of a parcel of real estate be registered who is personally will perform the work or assist in the performance of the work upon the real estate. But the real estate owner, of course, will have to obtain all the necessary permits, just not the registrations and stuff. Government agencies do not need to, And the last one on there, very important, minors. So no minors, no provision of this chapter shall apply to a minor. So if you got somebody that you know is doing lawn care work or something like that, that it is a minor.
Little Johnny mowing lawns in the neighborhood
Exactly.
does not count.
Correct.
I gotcha. Just trying to earn some money for the summer.
Exactly.
Gotcha. I like that one. Okay. So what is okay? So I mean, contractor is a pretty broad definition, and there's a lot of folks around here. Trying to work on houses and flip them and resell them, and I'm trying to think of all the different things that may be happening. So they just need to get registered with the city. What are the requirements to get registered with the city?
Okay, there is an application form. Again, we posted it along with this ordinance on the city's website. It's about 3 pages long. It talks about some requirements, which are really state requirements as well. But it also talks about what your expertise is: electrical, plumbing, HVAC, the whole gamut's there. Is it residential? Is it commercial? Is it both? Again, part of this is collecting information that we can then share with the public in a database that we'll be creating, so that if they're looking for a contractor that is registered to do certain types of work within the city, we can provide that information. But then it also has some situations in there where it's asking about, if the contractor employs people, do they have their workman's comp in place, and some other things criteria that has to be met to be registered. And again, as the Mayor Evans mentioned earlier, this is not something new that we've created. We've looked to see what we thought was the best of the best from the towns and villages around us that already have this in place.
I've told this story 1,000 times here on the show, but when Jamie and I were opening our first restaurant, we went down and met with a friend of a friend down in North Carolina, and he owned a bunch of restaurants down there and was helping us design ours. And the best piece of advice ever that anyone has given us is don't reinvent the wheel. And he said that about 3 times while we were down there. And it has always stuck with me. He's like, things work for a reason. And, with you going on and not reinventing the wheel and going and talking to different towns, what's worked, what hasn't worked, what have you changed over the years? That's very, very bright because, you let everyone else do the work and you just kind of copy what's good, and right?
Yeah, no, we did not want to start this from ground zero for sure.
Correct.
There would be a lot of what if scenarios. We still reach out to a lot of the cities around us when we run across something new. It's building your network is very important.
It is. You are correct. So what brought this idea about? If we can back up just a moment.
Well, a couple things really. One, we know we wanted to enforce our building and demo process that was already in the city. Also, we found a lot of work was happening, and then we would find out and have to go reach out to people. So if we're getting our contractors registered up front, they learn more about the other ordinances and applications and permits that are part of the construction industry, and so it keeps us getting in front of them a little quicker. Also, as part of the package, they'll be getting a RETA slip, and RETA deals with the income tax. So the income tax also is involved there to make sure our contractors are doing the right thing when they're working within the city, filing for their RETA income tax. But again, as part of our initiative to do a lot of the cleanup around town, we just wanted contractors to be more aware. That was the reason we've separated out the building and the demo permits, and they're not the same anymore. They're much more detailed toward either a building permit or a demo permit. We've encouraged a lot of the landowners, a lot of our landlords to clean up some properties. County commissioners has got involved, the land banks got involved, and that's what we want to continue doing. and we're trying to make the process as more fluid as possible as we kind of push in that direction. And we're encouraging people to come in and invest in the town. I think you'll see a lot of remodels going on in town. I just was down Main Street there out toward Westview School the other day, and just between Main and Bridge, there was 3 that I saw that was being remodeled there, older homes that was dilapidated or in a poor state of repair. People have come in and bought them. They're investing in them, and that's what we want to see in Jackson.
Well, and you're right. And, what would you say to the folks that say, well, this is just another, government putting their thumb on everyone and trying to, get money out of them and control what people are doing and run our lives? What would you say to that? Because you're going to hear that, or you probably already have.
Well, I wish I was hearing that. That means people was aware of what was going on.
We're knowing what we're doing, yeah.
So I hope I hear some of those questions and we get a chance to address some of those. We're not trying to control anybody's life. What we're trying to do, though, is get the information, protect the town, protect the citizens within the town, to make sure we have individuals that are coming in here doing work that have insurance in case something goes wrong, that is paying their workman's comp if they've got employees. We're not asking for anything more than that. And again, we hope to get out of this a database that the residents can reach out to if we're looking for a contractor to do some work. We want to encourage the remodeling and the building and stuff. And one of the first things you look for is who can I get? Who can help me?
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think, Mayor Evans and I have had conversations recently about, people that can do specific work and whatever. And it's nice to have that database of folks that you can tune into and find out who does masonry or who does roofing or whatever. And so it is kind of accumulating that list of contractors. So it's kind of win-win for everybody. So what is required to get this? Is it a permit? Are we calling it a permit or just a registration?
It is a registration. There is a $100 a year registration fee. You come in, you fill out the registration, you'll get a contractor registration number. When you come in to get a building permit or a demo permit, one of the things that you'll have to put on that permit is what your contractor registration number is.
Okay.
So if you don't have a contractor registration, you're not going to be able to get a building permit or a demo permit.
Fair enough, and that makes total sense. So what happens if someone thumbs their nose at you and says, I'm not listening to those guys, I'm just going to do whatever I want to do? Then what?
Well, we do now have a code enforcement officer.
You're going to have to deal with Ray, right?
You have to deal with Ray. But we do have that as part of the ordinance and stuff, so you'll be able to go out there. I mean, it actually talks about in the ordinance and stuff, we would be able to shut down activities.
And there is a penalty, too, in the ordinance. It's not a big penalty, but enough to try to, require compliance. And this is really for the benefit of the citizens. As David mentioned, just to know, we figure the better we know who's doing work in our town, the better we can let them know what's required of them to meet the city ordinances. It's really 3 simple steps to register. Like David said, you got to pay a fee. You got a form to fill out, but basically you pay a fee, show proof of workers' comp, and proof of liability insurance. And those two requirements are definitely for the benefit of our citizens.
Yeah, because I think that you hear the horror stories out there of the contractor that comes in and rips off everybody and skips town or whatever, or God forbid there is an accident or something happens and they wouldn't have the proper insurance to cover that, and maybe you know that, maybe you don't if it's somebody that you hired, but Boy, it sure would be nice to know that all of that was on the up and up.
Well, you'll know if you'll be able to check on our website if they're registered or not, and you'll know if they are registered that they do meet those requirements.
Yeah, and it seems to me that anyone that's a legitimate contractor wouldn't have trouble paying that $100 a year fee to the city to be able to do work here. That's just my opinion.
Well, and not only that, but now their name is also on the list too.
Sure.
So, somebody's looking for something that they specialized in, goes to the list, their name's going to be on there. So it's I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, it's kind of like advertising, right?
It is kind of like advertising.
Makes sense. All right, so if people have questions, well, number one, this has not passed yet, but we're looking at council probably passing this ordinance. So let's think ahead. How do people get registered? When do they have to do it by? If they have questions, who do they call? Tell us a little bit about that stuff.
Yeah. So first of all, like you said, we got to get it past council first. Then we've got to get some of our forms in, I'll call it the multiplex formats and stuff, so that we're ready. So it's going to take a little bit of time to do that. We didn't want to jump the gun and go, create a bunch of forms and order them and stuff, and then find out that there was some concerns that the council heard from the residents. They wanted to change some things. Now we've got all these forms that are no longer usable. So we'll take a little bit of time. We'll announce that once we get a better feel for when council passes it and stuff. But we're not going to surprise anybody. We'll publicize it very openly for, I would say, at least a month or two to let everybody know and be prepared. But we didn't want to move forward until we knew it was in its final stages and been approved. So more to come.
We have a couple questions on Facebook.
Yeah,
Do you
please,
care
our
if I
viewers
chime in?
always have good questions.
All right, Liz Frisbee asks, does a retiree who decides to mow lawns have to register as a contractor?
Fair.
See, we knew. Finally, we're getting it out there now. People are going to ask questions.
I'm telling you, our viewers can really sock it to you sometimes. So they have good questions.
I know the ordinance is, it calls it construction work. So I'll defer to David on this, but it calls it construction work.
Attaboy, pass the buck.
It does go down on list specifically things. It lists tree work, but not lawn mowing work. So I'm going to have to say no, it does not. Not as written. David, do you want to?
Hey, I'm not going to disagree.
You want to argue with me on that? He likes to argue with me. So,
This is great.
but I always win. So, yeah.
Yeah. These are the type of questions, Jennifer, that I encourage so that we can work them out and get some clarity and stuff into them so that when it does pass, we have the answers. If we don't have the questions, we can't go get the answers. So, Liz, thank you very much for the question.
All right, one more from Facebook. Sharon Brenner asks, what are the insurance liability limits?
Very good question.
The limit, and we copied this from other towns. If you want to look up Chillicothe's ordinance relating to contractor registration, you might see a lot of similarities. But it's a $300,000 liability insurance policy, and that's pretty much where they start, I think. So it's not.
So that would be kind of your basic policy if you're a legitimate contractor and you have legitimate insurance.
Yes.
That would be about the minimum you'd have anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And there again, as Liz asked, it's not for the lawnmower, but it does include tree trimmers because that's kind of dangerous work.
Yes, it is.
And then anything else related to construction that you would consider construction or on a home. And does include swimming pools too, by the way, swimming pool construction.
Okay. I'm thinking of like power washing businesses. Would that be included?
Not, there again, it's not specifically listed.
Yeah.
So David would have to pull a decision on that one when it comes up because it's not in the ordinance.
All right. Another question from Facebook. Tammy Regal asks, does a private citizen have to register to get a permit to build a storage shed for themselves?
No, actually, the ordinance, if you look at the section on that, on the exemptions, if he is the owner in fee simple of the property and stuff, he would need a building permit, but he would not need a contractor registration.
Yeah, and we failed to mention that. That's on us. Sorry about that. That the homeowner building something on their own property would not be required to get this permit. They would have to get a building permit and let y'all know that they're building something, but not register as a contractor for sure.
This ordinance is about contractor registration.
Right.
There are already existing ordinances on building permits and demolition permits.
One of the things that you may consider is, we have several individuals that own multiple properties throughout the city. Some may have it under their name in fee simple. Some may have it under their name but an LLC and stuff. That's a very big difference right there. So if it's under the LLC, you are considered then a contractor. If it's under your name personally as a fee simple, then it would not apply.
All right. Yeah, that's kind of a little gray area too, I guess. But all right, so this does apply. Let's get this out there to residential and commercial properties. This applies to everybody.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think that question could come up as well.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to take it since you did bring it up on the commercial though and stuff. The city of Jackson's ordinances is under state code and stuff. As far as the permitting process and the inspections, it's only the residential that we have our zoning and ordinances and so forth. Anything else goes at the state level.
Okay, very good. All right, so is there anything else? We have about 9 minutes left, and I can either sit here and talk to myself, or I can talk to you guys, and you're much more fun than I am. So what else would you like our viewers to know today?
Well, I have one very important announcement to make today.
Uh-oh.
And that is that Friday's trash.
Oh, no.
Friday is Good Friday, and it's a holiday for most city workers.
It is.
Friday's trash routes will be picked up tomorrow.
Oh, the day before.
The day before.
Oh.
So that typically catches a lot of people off guard. So anything we can do to let people know, Friday's trash will be ran tomorrow on Thursday with Thursday's regular route also.
And have that out early because the guys, let's be honest, are working double time and having to do 2 routes in one day. So get it out early so that they can get started.
Yeah, just wanted to get that out.
I'm glad you said that because I did not know that.
It's out on the website or in the city Facebook and stuff, but
okay.
It always helps when Jennifer says it.
Right.
We should have told Pete probably, but
I know. Well, we'll get
Pete's
the word.
Listening.
Yeah,
he's downstairs listening.
He
okay.
is.
One more comment on Facebook. Philip Malone said that he wanted to give a thank you to you guys for helping organize the youth travel basketball this winter. That they had trouble finding a place to practice, and then that you guys found a way to make it work for them.
Very, very welcome. We like to help out with our youth programs all that we can, and might as well throw a line out to the Big Red Diamond Club, which runs our city rec softball, baseball, and t-ball. They've got almost 500 kids participating in that this summer, so we're real proud of the Big Red Diamond Club and what they do for the city too.
And I would like to thank Philip and the other coaches that there was so many teams that was wanting to use that facility. They worked well together. They cooperated. They shared, and they made sure we weren't over capacity at any given time. So, thank you goes to them too for allowing us to make it happen.
Yeah, and I mean, none of us, again, signed up for a global pandemic. So anything that people can do to just be nice and work together is great. So it sounds like that worked out.
Very much So.
Yep. All right. Well, are there any future projects or anything that you could give us a little maybe preview of while you guys are here? Give us a little skinny about something. Come on, throw us a bone.
Well, there is going to be some ODOT paving that's going to be occurring this year. We've got the 93 from the 32 overpass back to 4 Mile. That was actually supposed to be next year. They flipped it. It was supposed to be going through town this year. But we still have some curbs and stuff that we need to do in-house work on and get ready for that. So they flipped and took the 4 Mile to 32 piece. Also 139, starting at South Street, over to Vaughn, down to Huron, and then making a left and heading out of town across the railroad tracks and stuff. Those were ODOT projects that were scheduled for this year. Future projects with ODOT include the rest of Broadway Street up to Main, the rest of 93, which is Main, out Bridge, and out Morton. It's coming up. We got in, it's probably, I get ODOT years or our years are a little bit different. They're about 6 months separated. The Broadway Street from out past Belicios, from the railroad tracks out that way to Corporation Limits is an ODOT project that'll be coming up. High Street Bridge project was actually supposed to be later this year. ODOT has requested a delay on that one. It looks like it'll be spring or around June 1st, sometime of next year before they're going to be ready for it. So those are just some ODOT projects that's coming up.
Well, that's exciting. With the weather that we've had, and that's nobody's fault, but there's definitely some potholes out there to avoid. What will happen during those ODOT projects? Will the roads be completely closed? Will they go down to one lane? How does that work?
In the past, it's been one lane at a time.
Okay.
ODOT could always change their mind at any given time, so I'm not going to speak for them, but that would be our desire, especially as these are main streets through the city, and to have them totally shut down would be quite a disruption.
It would.
One more question on Facebook. Mark Wood asked, how is the demolition of the abandoned houses going?
Well, actually, I think it's starting to pick up a little bit. Some of the property owners have started, I'll say, being more voluntary and coming in and getting demo permits versus us reaching out because of unsafe buildings. And, that's a good sign when we're not the one making the initial contact. There's still a lot of work out there to be done. I think as you drive around, you'll see and wonder, well, why is this, still here? Why is somebody not done something about it? But a lot of times there's some work behind the scenes happening as well. People don't realize that some of this takes time. It takes multiple contacts, and sometimes the owner of the property doesn't even live within the city. So then you're in more of a certified mail communications, follow-ups, and so forth. So nothing is happening as fast as we would like a lot of times, but believe me, there are a lot of things in the pipeline.
We finished one this week, just yesterday, in fact. Finished one on Broad Street, a demo, cleaned up, got a lot there, a clean lot, sowed in grass now. Really helped the area there, just within the first block off of Portsmouth Street there on Broad Street, and with working with the land bank, and we're being aggressive as we can on trying to get these properties cleaned up and safe, and we have been all along. We're going to continue to be. Jennifer, I want to add to David's projects. We got a lot of other projects. If you would have been at council meeting last week, we kind of went through that. But we're going to be doing paving of our own. Not only are we going to be paving with ODOT projects, we're going to be paving with our own pavement too on our city streets that aren't ODOT, that aren't tied to ODOT. You're going to see a lot of paving in Jackson in the next few years.
Good.
That's way overdue. There just wasn't a means to do it, and the income tax is what's going to allow us to do that. And also outside of that, we're doing a lot of infrastructure. We're trying to line up a lot of infrastructure repair work too, trying to prioritize it. And there's a lot of old water lines and sewer lines in the city. We've got main water lines that are 120 years old in this city, and
Wow.
So we're prioritizing where our biggest needs are, and as far as sewer and water lines, and going to try to start repairing those areas as we can. Then another big project I just want to mention quickly. You're probably about out of time. We're putting our utilities on a GIS map. We're mapping them. We're getting ready to start more aggressively on that. We feel like we're behind the times. You know, you can pull up the county's GIS website and see all kind of property boundary lines and anything, but not the utilities, not the city utilities. And we're trying to get that on in the city, where you at least will be able to, you know, pull up a map and know where that is, where our water lines and where our sewer lines are. We rely on what's in somebody's memories or what's on an old map that may or may not be found right now. So that's going to be a big project for us in the next couple of years that we're trying to roll out. But the big thing, the really big thing this year, is going to be the paving that you haven't seen in Jackson in a while, and we'll just be getting started this year. It'll pick up next year more as the income tax money funds roll in. But I think that's and of course everyone's going to want their street done.
Yeah.
We're actually using a system on how we prioritize them based upon what streets are in the worst condition and what streets get used the most.
I mean,
So,
you could make some money off of it. Just auction it off.
Well, we could.
My street first. I'm willing to
thought
pay.
about that. Who wants to put in the kitty? You might go first. But we're going to be fair about it.
Kidding.
You know, it's there's going to be a process that we're going to use to determine, and we're going to be fair about it, and we're going to be open about it, and but a lot of exciting things, a lot of behind the scenes work going on now. People don't really see, but a lot of things happening and a lot of changes being made.
Well, very good. I just want to know which one of you is going to swim the storm sewer to start mapping it out.
You know, we actually have cameras that we run up our sewers.
That would be a little bit smarter, huh?
Not only the storm sewers, but the sanitary sewers too.
That'd be even more fun.
You encounter all kind of things up them, but we actually have cameras that we can run up them, and have been doing that a lot lately, trying to assess the condition and where our greatest needs are, and yeah, David doesn't have to do that personally.
Whew, didn't know that was in the job description, did you?
I didn't even find a job description.
His job description changes daily as needed.
It's everything.
It changes as daily as needed. Yeah.
All of
but
it.
But so does mine.
Right.
So does mine, to be fair. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But thanks for having us on here.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. And you guys, anytime you have anything to discuss, and when this ordinance comes closer to fruition, why don't you come back and we can, get down to the details about it. And maybe you'll have had some questions asked by then that we can throw out some answers to as well.
Sounds great.
Or you're invited to our next council meeting if you'd like to come, when it will be discussed.
Aha.
Our council meetings are open to the public, because they have been for a while now.
And everybody should come.
I just want to know you're welcome.
Okay.
You and James
and the council meetings are always on Spectrum Cable 1024, right?
That's correct.
Right.
Yes.
And
Yep.
do you guys put it on Facebook or YouTube in addition to that, or just
it's just on the
Just on the
Spectrum
cable.
Cable 1024?
The only time we're on Facebook is when James K. Hamilton comes there and puts us on Facebook.
Well, very good. Guys, thank you so much. Of course, Jackson Mayor Randy Evans and our Safety Service Director, David Swackhammer. Thank you for being our guest today on the show. We greatly appreciate you. All right. All right, before we get out of here for the day, did want to thank our friends at Callahan Hardware, your everything store. I do think that our good friend Jeff is going to be here in a few days to talk about all things spring and some of the great things they have going on. Also want to thank Chip and Kathy Smalley at The Shop. And if you need custom engraving, jewelry repair, watch repair, see you guys. Any kind of trophies or plaques made. If you have a car show or a fair or festival coming up, give Chip and Kathy a call, 988-2841. Also, want to shout out to the filling station, the store at Broadway and Penn and Wellston, and Quick Stop, the whole Zaffel family. Thank you. And if you're hungry, a Hoser's Pizza sure does sound good today, so stop by and see them. And of course, our good friend Mark Carmen at Carmen's Used Cars. Visit their website. They have over 70 vehicles on the lot at all times you can pick from. You can even check out prices, payments, all that fun stuff on their website. So go there and check it out. Alrighty, well, have to get out of here for the day. Thanks to everyone that tuned in. Thank you so much for all of the great questions on our Facebook feed, and our viewers always have wonderful questions. So until tomorrow, well, stay warm and dry, and we will see you back here then. Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.